No problem. We understand. I'm also on Zoom. All right. Are we ready to go ahead then, Joe?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:04. And our first item of business is the minutes from our October meeting. So if you all have had a chance to review or go ahead and take a look through them now.
I move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Can I second it?
Yep.
I second it.
You were here.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay, great. Any opposed? Okay. All right, moving on to the bars. Olga, you want to walk us through them? It looks like we have just three, correct?
There's two.
Or two, yeah. Okay.
There's two. One is operational, is just cleaning up the lines. It's bar 242500008 maintenance. And another one is in our non-instructional support. This is our interest. So apparently every quarter when Maria will post the interest, I have to do an increase, and we have $23.10 in interest.
No.
So, and it's bar 242500009.
Yeah, I move to approve the bars as presented.
Is there a second?
second it.
All in favor?
I
Okay, great. Okay, next item of business is the governing council workshop. So generally, for our new board members, we hold a workshop once a year. We generally have kind of different topics. We've done a workshop around how to school evaluation. We've done workshops that cover all different areas of governance. We've done workshops that cover academic issues. It's usually, Mike, what would you say, like a 3 hour block
Yeah.
of time? We try to hold our meeting like on the front end and then hold our workshop. It does need to be noticed to the public because there's a quorum of board members together. And if the public want to attend, then they are allowed. Joe, I don't know with the new rule if we have to stream it. Do we have to do that? Do you know?
I just think it's regular meetings, but it's something we'll talk to the coalition. We'll talk to Matt and see if he's got further insight on that.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought of that. So we've done a few different ways, and we can talk about what will best works best for all of us. We've done it like just an extended evening thing on a regular meeting night and just gone an extra, hour or two. We've also done it like on a Saturday morning. We've had different iterations of it. I don't know, Mike, do you have a preference as to how we've done in the past and which you prefer, and then we can ask other board members what they would prefer.
Well, it seems like we've had trouble doing it like in the evening after work. So I think that's hard to do that. I think we've done it. Have we done it on a Saturday before? We did.
We have like 9 to noon or something.
I kind of like that. I mean, that might be hard for some people. I don't know. I kind of like that.
Okay, thanks. Joe, do you want to weigh in at all since you attend also?
I'm fine either way. I think it's up to the board's
I
discretion
go
to
to bed at
choose.
8, so 9 to 9
Yeah.
would be free.
What's that?
I go to bed
Sorry,
at-
Carlene, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I
you.
was saying I go to bed early, so Saturday 9 to noon's better for me.
What about
Okay,
you,
got it.
Peter?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that sometime on the weekend, that would be perfect.
Okay.
Domingo, we try to avoid like, during baseball season since there are Saturday games. So we do try to avoid that.
Just they'll be on third base, just zooming in.
I understand. Um, so I think then, okay, then what we should do, and I actually don't think we have to make that decision right now since we're missing two board members. Why don't, just for planning purposes only, no discussions. I will circulate an email to the board members and throw out a few dates. And then we can kind of decide which date works best for everyone. Joe, could we hold it at the school, or I mean, we can always hold it at Armstrong Energy, which is in the center of town, which might be nicer than having to drive out to the school on a Saturday morning. I don't know if anyone has a preference, but we can easily do that.
Whatever works.
Okay, does anyone have a preference?
I like the center of town, but Logan's right
Okay.
out here in his sleep, so.
No, I know. Okay, okay, we can plan on doing that. All right, then I will take the initiative to generate an email that sends around just some dates for when we will hold our meeting. And we can also, I think there should be some thought around what do we really want to cover, particularly with the new board members. So I can also put together a draft agenda and then get input from everyone else to see what else they would like added to the agenda.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, I don't think we need to vote on that. So we can move on to the next agenda item, the change of board meeting location. I think we mentioned at the last meeting that the reason we were moving board meetings out to the school is because we do have to have streaming capabilities, meaning we need a technology setup. We need to be able to do it. We need to be able to then have the recordings and post them online. And the school obviously has that set up. Also, given the recent floods, I mean, I don't think the Anderson Museum was actually hit very hard. That being said, I think the museums in general are still reeling from that. So I think I'm grateful we had already switched our meetings out to Sidney, and I guess we just need to vote that that's what we are going to do moving forward, if everyone is okay with that.
Yeah, we just haven't
Well,
had it on the.
A lot of heads nodding yes in the
Yeah,
affirmative.
that's fine.
Okay. All right. So then can I have a motion to approve the moving of our monthly meetings to the Sidney Gutierrez School?
I motion we leave our meetings here at the Sidney Gutierrez schools.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So the next item, which is actually quite important because one, by statute, we are obligated to do this, but also it's when parents will start asking you, when can I put my kid in Sydney's lottery? It's the open enrollment notice. So what open enrollment is, it is the time period that a family can submit their application for their kid to be part of the lottery for next school year. So it's usually a, Joe, 2-month window. Do we usually give a 2-month window? I
Yeah,
think so.
the window itself has to be a minimum of 15 days.
Okay.
And so we
Okay.
give it a little bit longer than that, not by much. And then we don't have to hold the meeting to do the drawing until we're comfortable with that. And we've always pushed that back to the April meeting. So
Okay. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. So a minimum of 15 days is what we've done. And then once that closes, we close it at 5 p.m. on that, whatever that existing Friday is. And then we go from there.
So what that means for families is if they do not get an application in during that time period, they will not be eligible to participate in that lottery in April. If they get it in afterwards, they will be automatically put on the wait list. So the reason we start noticing in December is to give families the heads up that the lottery will be opening on a certain date. Olga, do you have the dates from last year? Thank you for adding this to the agenda because we do usually notice it in December, I believe.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
So she doesn't have them with her, but I think what we can do is we've always taken the last weekend of December to be the Friday through Sunday to be the first announcement, and then the second week of, the first week in January, and then we come back on the 7th. So I believe we could also put something in on that following Friday, and that's something that we can agree to do. We just, the window generally in February.
Yeah, that's what I think it's usually around. I just remember it's usually around Valentine's Day. Okay, so I think my suggestion is going to be that we notice the way Joe noted it. We actually noticed it 3 times, even though we're obligated to only do 2. I think that that's fair, and I think that makes sense. It doesn't hurt us, and it just gives families more opportunities to see it in the newspaper.
Sorry,
Um,
my bad.
no,
We're
that's fine.
we're looking at February 10th to February 28th will be 15 calendar day, 15 business days. In there though, what is the 17th?
President's Day.
President's Day, we do have is that federal holiday? It sure is, isn't it?
No, no, I don't think it's President's Day. I thought that was one of our community learning days.
It is.
It is, but we don't, I'm trying to,
Is that a business day? I mean, is that like a?
Oh, yeah.
it is, we'd have to extend it. So,
I mean, we could extend it to Monday the
Right.
24th just to be on the safe side.
well, I was thinking to go to the 28th to the end of the month. That's a Friday.
Okay, so then are we going to do it from the 10th to the 28th?
10th to the 28th.
Okay, that's fine.
Does that matter if it's a federal holiday? Do we need
The
15?
they can't postmark it that day. That's it. In the past, when everything was done with paper, this shouldn't be an issue because
Okay.
it shouldn't be an issue, Yassine and Domingo, because this is all online.
Yeah, I mean, this
But
is not a postmark issue. We don't take
okay.
applications in person anymore. So, I mean, we could do the 21st if we wanted to do, but I mean, I think 28th is fine. I'm
Right.
not opposed to leaving the window a little open a little longer.
Yeah, I think that'll benefit us, and then
Well, we have to have 15 days, right?
it's 15. It should be 15 calendar days, but
Oh, okay. Right.
we extended that to 15
Yeah, no, I
business
think that's
days
great.
just because of
Yeah,
the
okay,
one holiday. But since we're doing everything electronic, I think it's going to be fine.
that's great.
Okay, so the open enrollment dates will be February 10th through February 28th. We do, for new board members, we do make sure it is advertised on Facebook. There is a link that parents that I post up there, but parents can go just straight to our website and complete the application. And then Joe, do you want to just talk through what happens once the application is submitted, just so everyone's familiar with how they get assigned a number so that when we actually do the lottery, we don't actually know names in the moment. It's just the person's assigned number.
Sure. So on the web form that we've created, parents fill out name. We can't use addresses. I know in bigger cities, they can't use geolocation as a criteria for acceptance. Here, we're in a community where we serve all the kids, so addresses aren't on there, but name, birthday, grade they're enrolled in, stuff like that. All the basic contact information, mostly for parents. And then once the open enrollment window opens, parents can get on and they can fill out an application. And so it's a one pager, which is basically stipulating the child, like I said, the child's name, phone number, emails, so that we can contact them. Every time that there's an entry into the database, there is a number that's generated. It's called a unique ID. And so we just send that to the parents with receipt that their application has been received. What happens once they hit click and they submit it, our database receives a copy of it. I receive an email copy of the information, as well as the parent receiving a receipt of the application. So there's 3 emails that generate automatically. So I mean, we're covered. The databases, we have a secondary backup because of the emails that I received, and then the parents have one. And so on that will be a unique ID. That's the number that they'll see drawn at the April meeting. We don't do any names. We used to call them out, which was very difficult. We used to John Smith, and it was tough.
I mean, to sit there in those meetings and have families there waiting to hear their child's name called and not having them called was truly awful.
Yeah.
This is a much better way of doing it for everyone.
So basically within 10 minutes of the draw, I can have all the information posted. I mean, we continue with the meeting and I'm sitting there and I just upload the results to our website. Parents know that they can check it, pretty much. Basically, and we tell them to give us till the morning because They're up there 15 minutes after they're pulled sometimes. So, um, the window, just for your own benefit, the window that I like to extend, meaning we're gonna finish on February 28th, and then we're not gonna do anything until April, is because we have a lot of duplicates. Mom and dad will go to work, get that aha moment. Oh, I've got to sign my kid up for Sydney. Well, we have the same kid 2, 3, 7 times, you know, because it something grandpa does it, grandma does it, you know.
And
Also,
I think some families think that if they put in more applications, they get a higher
yeah,
chance.
um,
I
so
think
true,
that's
so
probably
true. That is true. I'm not gonna listen. And then we also have parents who don't actually look at the application, and it's because it seems simple, it's really kind of not. Because they'll say, oh, my kid's in 3rd grade, and they'll put them in 3rd grade wanting to get into 3rd grade,
That's really cool.
and it should be 4th grade. So we basically check every application that comes through. Sometimes things we miss. I mean, after you read 300 of them, you look at it and your eyes go crossed, but we do our best not to see any of that. If we anything glaring, then we call the parents and find out what they actually want. We have duplicates. We always take the first one that they've submitted and then delete the next 2 to 7 that they've put in. We always want to give them a fair opportunity. And what's nice about the database is it will tell you the exact time they submitted it and the date. So anything after 5 p.m. on the 28th, if it says 7:07 p.m. on February 28th, they go on the wait list. And so
Do they do one for each family member?
anyone who's enrolling.
Oh.
So these are new enrollees. Once your child's in,
Per family.
for-
Okay.
yeah. No, it is.
But that's a good question, Carlene, because if you have a sibling that is starting kindergarten, they are a new enrollee. And so the parent of that kindergartner, even if they have our 3rd grader in, has to do an application for that incoming kindergartner.
Absolutely.
Don't they have to, even if they want to return for the following grade, don't they have to submit an application as well? Indicating
No.
they're gonna still
No.
be in school?
No, what we do is we do an audit.
Okay,
We do an enrollment audit in July.
okay.
And we basically call people and say, are you returning? And they just simply yes or no. And then some don't ever respond back to us, and we hold them as they were going to be here.
Okay.
And then we have the kids who tell us, oh, I'm not coming back. My parents said I don't have to. Ha ha ha. And then the parent, he shows up first in line on day 1 because the parents found out that he made those claims when we emailed him saying, we heard your son's not coming back. We're going to miss him. What do you mean? Well, he's espousing to everybody who will listen that he's not coming back to Sydney. And he was first in line to return to school that day. So, but that's kind of where we're at.
Any other questions about, yeah, go ahead.
What dates should I put in as?
Okay, so open enrollment will be February 10th through February
We're
28th.
talking about the publishing it.
I think you did
I'm gonna cut away for a minute. I didn't use the restroom, but you
20,
guys,
It's usually in December.
27, 28, 29 of December.
Yep.
And then back on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of January.
Perfect. Okay, and I guess I think I need, can I have a motion to approve the open enrollment dates for February 10th through February 28th?
So I move to approve the open enrollment dates for the upcoming school open enrollment. I guess I said that twice. From February 10th through February 28th.
Is there a second?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. If you guys have additional questions about the lottery, because once you become a board member, you often get a lot of questions. You're always welcome to call, obviously, Mr. Andreas or myself or Mike. We've been through many. Mike's been through more lotteries than all of us. So, but we're also happy. You can also direct people our way if they have questions. So then the next item is the lottery date. So as Joe said, they usually use the month of March to really get all the applications organized, to go through to see if there's duplicates. Oftentimes they will notice that, parent put the wrong grade in, that kind of thing. So we use that time to get everything in order for the actual lottery. We usually hold it at our April meeting, and I'm looking at the calendar right now, and the first Tuesday in April is April 1st. So that's funny. Um, so I don't know. I mean, that's our normal meeting date. So my suggestion would be is that's when we hold the lottery, is on, our first meeting or our April meeting, which would be April 1st.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve that?
Domingo?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
It's my mom's birthday.
Sorry.
Will you have any mom birthday commitments?
We'll zoom her in too.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Or do we need to vote on that or?
I think so. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
sure we need to, but let's just go ahead so we have it in the minutes that we did.
Okay, so I move to approve April 1st as our or as our lottery date for the school year 2025-2026.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Great. All in favor?
I,
Thank you. Okay, moving on to updates. Financial update. Olga, do you want to provide us with the financial update? Thank you for sending the financials around.
So we have year to date is 672,285.69. So that's how much we currently spend as October 31st. So it's all our transactions. And it's split, if you guys look at the two schools, it's 287.77 for middle school and 379.20 for elementary school. So on the bottom, you will see how much we will have. So we, like, the ESSERs are done. So we had 66,000 left, but we already, cannot do anything about it. And, SPED, it looks like we're on a good track. We spent, 3,780 and we encumbered almost 12,000, so we have 21,000 encumbered. I'm guessing it will be continued to use for
Or diagnostics.
diagnosticians.
Yeah, and remember about 8,000 of that we pulled, that's from this month because of operational.
Correct, and that's
And that won't happen again.
so that's that. If you look at the second page, you will see that a little bit over. So in the very, very bottom, you will see how much SAG we have versus how much we actually spent in the month of October out of operational.
We're still in the black about 111,000. So, and there's some things
I mean, we know water went up, like the water's gotten really expensive and doesn't go away anywhere. Hopefully they will do something about it. I know there was multiple meetings was held regarding how they charging for water these days. But I don't know if that's gonna do anything.
Have we seen any reimbursements, lease reimbursements?
No, so I emailed them to kind of see where we are because we already in November. They said they have a board meeting on 13.
I saw that. I'm not talking about the application, I'm talking about reimbursements.
Yeah, we have not because they haven't approved anything yet.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was emailing. It's like,
Well, I saw that email. I just, because that's gonna put money back into our
yes,
budget.
it will.
So
It will.
for
Where do you
Domingo and for Carlene, what's that?
why do you get a reimbursement?
So what happens is we make application to the state. We don't receive direct tax monies from the city. So the district can. Yeah, I think it's ad valorem taxes. Your husband would know probably more about that than me, but so what happens then is the state has set up a system for smaller schools and smaller school districts to get lease reimbursement for properties that they don't own. And so right now we pay
10,
10,000 for this building
For
every
every
month, and then
the
5 something for the other one. So we've been taking our operational cash and putting that forward. And on a quarterly basis, they're supposed to reimburse us for the monies that we spend up to a certain point.
Mhm.
Okay, so out of that 15, we may get 12. But when you go over 3 or 4 months, we're front loading their,
Yeah.
it's costing our budget money. So I've asked Olga to put this down here. It kind of gives us an ebb and flow of what we're doing. The first month, excuse me, there's really no salaries. If you look at the 88,660, that's what we spent at the bottom there, very bottom, first column in yellow. And then as we move forward, you can see where expenses along, and that's everything encumbered. And so, but we've not seen, we're putting out lots of money that we're not getting reimbursed for. Once we get reimbursed, it's gonna go back to our general operations. So we'll still be spending monies, but we'll have more monies to pull from. I hope that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, you're the
Mhm.
bookkeeper, you business manager, so.
Yeah.
But that's where I just asked that question because it's been on my mind that, we're starting to see some of our capital go down, and looking at $300,000-400,000 left, and we still have 7 months of this school year.
Mhm.
But we're not, we'll see maybe 100,000 come back to us on a quarter.
Correct. Yeah, so after November 13th, hopefully they will send us a letter where it will say how much we get unawarded for, and we will, I usually do quarterly reimbursements, so I send it to them, kind of our invoice, and they send us money to our account for those 2 buildings.
Even though it's looking a little tighter right now than the beginning of the year, it's because we don't receive reimbursements from the state. And so, like I said, we push that money up to them. As soon as they need it, they get it. And we could be
want our
6, we
money
could be
too.
6 months out before we even see it.
Mhm. It's been a little longer than last year. That's why I emailed them.
So,
Where's the
That's
award?
why these bottom numbers are important to us, because what we're looking at this is only from one fund, though. I hope you understand. This is
Yeah,
from
it's
11,000.
operational. It's just
So we have
operational.
other funds that our budget looks a lot better when you
Yep,
put everything
Everything
together.
together.
But when you look at operationals, this is what we use every day to run the school. And when it gets thin like this, then you have to think about cutting things out or back.
Mhm.
And then, so we're in a position right now, we're just waiting for them to give us some of the monies that we're expected to receive back to us. So we don't have to do that. So we can just continue operating. I mean, if we can things are so tight now with everything, not gonna go into it anywhere. But, we used to pull 100,000-200,000 a year on carryover. And now it's gonna be probably 50 to 100 if we're lucky, because of, water bills, $3,000 water bill. Yeah.
Insurance.
Insurance has gone up
Mhm.
18%.
It's insane.
So those are the kind of things, and we don't receive monies from the state to cover all of our costs. And that was one of the biggest things that, as board members, you're gonna understand that we're gonna have things that are on the books that we have to do, and we don't have monies to do it from the state. So we have to determine what we want to create a priority for. And if these are things we have to do, then we have to do them. So,
It's also why it's absolutely imperative for charters to not only have a strong PTO, but to also have an incredibly strong foundation. Because there's often capital projects that we don't get reimbursed for that we have to do, that our foundation steps in and pay for. So many people ask us about the 3 different entities, and they don't understand the distinction between them. But both the governing council, the PTO, and the foundation are critical to Sidney's doors staying open.
yes, absolutely.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you, Olga. Then, well, I guess we'll move on to facilities update.
Okay, I'll try to keep this short. We weren't impacted directly by the flood except for 2 rain spots that we found from a previous leak that we thought was fixed. And so we're replacing ceiling tiles. We did lose power several times, and thus our fire alarm systems kind of go out of whack, and we have to have them all of those reset. We don't have a certificate of occupancy on the library or the portable yet, even though all work's completed. We're still waiting on the CID from Santa Fe to issue that. We had spent some monies, some of our SB9 monies on updating our internet access points throughout the schools, and they seem to be working very well right now. So we dodged a major bullet with that. I think that came out to around $4,000, and so very, very fortunate that we had those funds to do that. And that's right now. That's all I have on the facilities.
Okay, thanks, Joe. All right, let's move on to new business. I do not believe we have a financial committee report at this time, so we'll go ahead and move on to a principal's report.
Just a lot of things going on at school. We had our Spirit Week last week. We had the flooding previous. We've had the perpetual rescheduling of Roswell Games. I think it's now on its 5th iteration. We had a great.
We don't have any sense as to when they might just cancel it if it gets to be
No.
too cold. Okay, fantastic. Just checking.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
not within my purview. I would have closed that chapter about 4 days ago. 5 maybe. PTO, last I understood, PTO had raised about $22,000 or $23,000 from their
Pumpkin run.
pumpkin run and all that stuff. Kids had a blast. We had the cadets come down and they did their thing, and they were amazing as usual. We're closing out our second mid-9 weeks grade soon, and we'll have those progress reports coming out shortly. That's about it.
Okay, great. Okay, then moving on, there's no members of the public there, or is there anyone there that would like to make a comment?
She only speaks Russian, so I don't think we're gonna get there.
Got it.
She's smiling, so
Okay.
she understood that, but
Okay, we are going to move. Then I'm going to need a motion to move into closed session to discuss a personnel matter. Joe, as I understand it, we should stop recording the meeting or live. I don't know how we do this.
you stop
Actually.
recording and then you can go into executive session when